Throughout America's history, the achievements of African Americans have been reduced to non-important. However, the greatest American export to the world has continually been Black culture. From the way music is composed, to how people dress down, to how people protest against oppression, no culture has impacted the world quite like Black culture. Here are 15 Black men who have changed history forever. We guarantee at least 5 people on our list have impacted your life. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. First up, we have the undisputed king of pop. 15. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was a global icon and pioneer in the world of music and entertainment. Born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana, Jackson rose to fame as the lead singer of the Jackson 5, a Motown group formed with his siblings. His solo career, which began in the 1970s, propelled him to unprecedented levels of success. With albums like Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad, Jackson became one of the best-selling music artists of all time. His innovative dance moves, such as the moonwalk, and his distinctive voice left an indelible mark on the music industry. Beyond his musical achievements, Michael Jackson revolutionized the music video genre. His videos, including Thriller, Billie Jean, and Beat It, set new standards for production quality and storytelling. Thriller, released in 1983, remains one of the most iconic music videos ever made and helped popularize the medium on a global scale. Jackson's influence extended beyond music. He was a cultural phenomenon whose impact reached into fashion, dance, and even humanitarian efforts. Jackson's philanthropic endeavors were as notable as his musical talents. He supported numerous charities and humanitarian causes throughout his life, including efforts to combat poverty, hunger, and HIV and AIDS. His involvement in charitable work earned him recognition and accolades from organizations around the world. Despite facing personal challenges and controversies, Michael Jackson's legacy endures as one of the greatest entertainers in history, with his contributions to music, dance, and humanitarianism leaving an indelible mark on the world. 14. Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson was a trailblazing figure in American sports history, known for breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball, MLB. Born on January 31, 1919, in Cairo, Georgia, Robinson's athletic prowess was evident from a young age. After excelling in various sports, including football, basketball, track, and baseball, Robinson joined the Kansas City Monarchs in the Negro Leagues in 1945. His talent and resilience caught the attention of Branch Rickey, the president and general manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers, who saw an opportunity to integrate MLB. In 1947, Robinson made history when he became the first African American to play in the modern era of MLB, debuting with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Enduring intense racial prejudice and discrimination, Robinson displayed remarkable courage and skill on the field, earning the respect of fans, teammates, and opponents alike. His exceptional performance paved the way for other African American players to join the major leagues and helped spark a transformation in American society. Beyond his athletic achievements, Jackie Robinson was a symbol of the civil rights movement. He used his platform to advocate for racial equality and social justice, becoming an influential figure both on and off the field. Robinson's impact extended far beyond baseball, inspiring generations of people to challenge injustice and strive for equality. In 1962, he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, cementing his legacy as one of the most important figures in the history of American sports and civil rights. The next person on our list exemplified eloquence and held up a mirror to America. 13. James Baldwin. James Baldwin was a renowned African-American author, playwright, and activist, whose works explored themes of race, sexuality, and identity in American society. Born on August 2, 1924, in Harlem, New York City, Baldwin grew up in the midst of racial segregation and discrimination, experiences that deeply influenced his writing and worldview. Baldwin's literary career began in the 1940s and 1950s, during a time of intense social and political upheaval in the United States. His early novels, such as Go Tell It on the Mountain and Notes of a Native Son, examined the complexities of race, religion, and family in America. Baldwin's poignant prose and unflinching exploration of the African American experience earned him critical acclaim and established him as a leading voice in American literature. In addition to his novels and essays, James Baldwin was an outspoken advocate for civil rights and social justice. He became a prominent figure in the civil rights movement, participating in marches and protests along leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Baldwin's essays, including The Fire Next Time and No Shame in the Street, offered powerful critiques of racism and inequality in America and called for a radical reimagining of society. Throughout his life, Baldwin's writing challenged readers to confront uncomfortable truths about race, sexuality, and power. He was openly gay at a time when homosexuality was widely stigmatized, and his experiences as a gay Black man informed much of his work. Baldwin's honesty and courage in addressing taboo subjects made him a controversial figure in his time, but also earned him a devoted following and cemented his legacy as one of the most important writers of the 20th century. James Baldwin's influence extends far beyond the realm of literature. His insights into the human condition and his unwavering commitment to social justice continue to resonate with readers and activists today. Through his writing and activism, Baldwin sought to bridge the divides that separate people and to foster understanding and empathy in a world far too often marked by hatred and division. 12. Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson was a multi-talented African-American actor, singer, athlete, and civil rights activist, whose career spanned several decades and transcended artistic and cultural boundaries. Born on April 9, 1898, in Princeton, New Jersey, Robeson excelled academically and athletically, becoming one of the first African-American students at Rutgers University at the time. He distinguished himself as a football player and graduated a class valedictorian before attending Columbia Law School. Despite his early success in academics and athletics, Robeson ultimately chose to pursue a career in the arts. He gained recognition as a powerful singer, known for his deep, resonant voice and his renditions of spirituals and folk songs. Robeson's performances captivated audiences around the world, and he became one of the most celebrated concert artists of his time. In addition to his musical career, Paul Robeson was a trailblazing actor, known for his powerful performances on stage and screen. He broke barriers by portraying complex, dignified African-American characters in productions such as Othello and The Emperor Jones. Robeson's talent and charisma made him an international star, and he used his platform to advocate for racial equality and social justice. Throughout his life, Robeson was deeply committed to the fight against racism and oppression. He spoke out against lynching, segregation, and colonialism, and he championed the rights for workers and marginalized communities around the world. His outspoken activism often put him at odds with the political establishment, leading to surveillance, harassment, and blacklisting during the McCarthy era. Despite facing persecution and adversity, Paul Robeson remained steadfast in his convictions and continued to use his voice and influence to advocate for justice and equality. His legacy as a pioneering artist, activist, and advocate for human rights continues to inspire people around the world to this day. The next person on our list coined the idea of Blacktown. 11. Dr. Claude Anderson. Dr. Claude Anderson is a prominent author, educator, and advocate for economic empowerment within the African American community. Born on January 24, 1935, in Wewoka, Oklahoma, Anderson has dedicated his life to addressing the economic disparities faced by African Americans and promoting strategies for wealth building and self-reliance. Anderson earned a doctorate in educational administration from Michigan State University and served as a state and regional director in the U.S. Department of Agriculture during the presidency of Jimmy Carter. However, it is his work outside of government that has garnered the most attention and acclaim. One of Dr. Anderson's most influential contributions is his concept of powernomics, outlined in the seminal book Black Labor, White Wealth: The Search for Power and Economic Justice. In this work, Anderson examines the historical and systemic barriers that have hindered economic progress for African Americans and proposes a framework for achieving economic empowerment through group economics, entrepreneurship, and political activism. Through his writings, speeches, and advocacy work, Dr. Anderson has challenged conventional wisdom on issues such as affirmative action, reparations, and economic development. He emphasizes the importance of self-determination and collective action in addressing the economic challenges facing African American communities. In addition to his scholarly work, Dr. Claude Anderson has founded several organizations dedicated to advancing economic empowerment and political awareness among African Americans. His efforts have inspired countless individuals and communities to take control of their economic destinies and work toward a future of prosperity and self-sufficiency. 10. Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington was a prominent African American educator, author, and leader in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Born into slavery on April 5, 1856, in Hales Ford, Virginia, Washington rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most influential figures in African American history. After emancipation, Washington pursued an education, attending the Hampton Normal and Agricultural Institute, now Hampton University, in Virginia. He later became an educator himself, serving as the first principal of the Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute, now Tuskegee University, in Alabama. Under his leadership, Tuskegee grew into a leading institution for African American education, focusing on practical skills and vocational training. Washington's philosophy of self-help and economic advancement, often referred to as the Atlanta Compromise, emphasized the importance of Black economic development and cooperation with white Americans in the South. In his famous speech in the Atlanta Exposition in 1895, Washington called for mutual respect and cooperation between the races, arguing that economic progress will lead to social and political advancement for African Americans. While Washington's accommodationist approach to race relations drew criticism from some African American leaders, including W.E.B. Du Bois, he was nevertheless respected and admired by many for his tireless efforts to improve the lives of African Americans. He worked tirelessly to raise funds for education and economic development, and his influence extended beyond the confines of Tuskegee to national and international spheres. Booker T. Washington's legacy as a pioneering educator and advocate for African American advancement is enduring. His commitment to practical education, economic empowerment, and racial cooperation laid the groundwork for future generations of civil rights leaders and activists. Despite facing immense challenges and obstacles, Washington remained steadfast in his belief that education and hard work were the keys to achieving equality and justice for African Americans. 9. Barack Obama. Barack Obama made history as the 44th President of the United States, serving 2 terms from 2009 to 2017. Born on August 4, 1961, in Honolulu, Hawaii, Obama's election marked a significant milestone as the first African American to hold the highest office in the nation. Before entering politics, Obama had a diverse background that included community organizing, civil rights law, and academia. He rose to prominence after delivering a keynote address at the 2004 Democratic National Convention, where he emphasized unity and hope across partisan lines. His compelling oratory and message of change resonated with voters, propelling him to the victory in the 2008 presidential election. As president, Barack Obama faced numerous challenges, including the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression, ongoing wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and deep political divisions in Congress. Despite these obstacles, he enacted several landmark policies, including the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform, and Consumer Protection Act, and the repeal of the military's Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. Obama's presidency was also marked by significant advancements in social justice and civil rights. He signed legislation to combat pay discrimination, expanded hate crime protections, and advocated for comprehensive immigration reform. Additionally, Obama became a vocal supporter for LGBTQ+ rights, publicly endorsing same-sex marriage and appointing the first openly gay cabinet member. Beyond his policy accomplishments, Barack Obama's leadership style and personal demeanor earned him widespread admiration at home and abroad. He emphasized diplomacy and multilateralism in foreign affairs, seeking to repair relationships with allies and engage with adversaries through dialogue and negotiation. Obama's efforts to address global challenges, such as climate change and nuclear proliferation, earned him the Nobel Peace Prize in 2009. Since leaving office, Barack Obama has remained active in public life, advocating for voter engagement, civic participation, and social justice initiatives through his foundation and other platforms. His legacy as the first African American president and his enduring impact on American politics and society continue to inspire future generations. Our next person, in the words of Malcolm X, decided to swing up on some freedom. 8. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, born Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. on January 17, 1942, in Louisville, Kentucky, was one of the most celebrated and influential athletes of the 20th century. Renowned for his unparalleled boxing skills, charismatic personality, and outspoken advocacy for civil rights and social justice, Ali transcended the sport of boxing to become a global icon. Ali gained prominence as an amateur boxer, winning a gold medal in the light heavyweight division in the 1960 Summer Olympics in Rome. He turned professional shortly after and quickly rose to the ranks of the boxing world. Known for his lightning-fast footwork, powerful punches, and unorthodox fighting style, Ali became the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, winning the title 3 times in his career. Outside the ring, Ali was a passionate advocate for civil rights and racial equality. He famously refused to be drafted to the U.S. military during the Vietnam War, citing his religious beliefs and opposition to the war. The decision resulted in him being stripped of his boxing titles and banned from the sport for 3 years. Despite facing immense personal and professional challenges, Ali remained steadfast in his convictions and eventually had his conviction overturned by the Supreme Court. Ali's activism extended beyond racial issues to encompass broader social justice causes. He spoke out against poverty, inequality, and discrimination, using his platform as a prominent athlete to amplify marginalized voices. His willingness to sacrifice his career for his beliefs and his unwavering commitment to principle made him a hero to millions around the world. In addition to his athletic and humanitarian achievements, Ali was known for his larger-than-life personality and memorable quotes. His wit, charm, and charisma made him a beloved figure both inside and outside the boxing ring. Muhammad Ali passed away on June 3, 2016, but his legacy as a sporting legend, cultural icon, and champion for social change, continues to inspire people of all backgrounds to this day. 7. Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was a Jamaican-born political leader, journalist, and entrepreneur who became a prominent figure in the early 20th century Pan-Africanism movement. Born on August 17, 1887, in St. Ann's Bay, Jamaica, Garvey emerged as a dynamic and charismatic leader, advocating for the empowerment and unity of people of African descent worldwide. Garvey's vision was rooted in the belief that people of African ancestry, who had been historically oppressed and marginalized, needed to assert their own political, economic, and cultural sovereignty. In 1914, he founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association, UNIA, which aimed to unite African diaspora communities and promote Black self-reliance and self-determination. One of Garvey's most notable achievements was the establishment of the Black Star Line, a shipping company designed to facilitate trade and transportation among African diaspora communities. The Black Star Line symbolized Garvey's commitment to economic empowerment and Pan-African cooperation, although it faced financial difficulties and ultimately failed. Garvey's message of Black pride, self-respect, and self-reliance resonated with millions of people around the world, particularly in the Caribbean, the United States, and Africa. He used his platform as a speaker and journalist to promote his ideas, reaching audiences through newspapers, lectures, and mass rallies. Despite his significant influence and popularity, Marcus Garvey also faced opposition and persecution from government authorities, particularly in the United States. In 1923, he was convicted of mail fraud related to the sale of stock in the Black Star Line and was subsequently deported to Jamaica. However, Garvey's ideas continued to inspire generations of activists and leaders in the struggle for civil rights and Black liberation. Marcus Garvey's legacy as a champion of Pan-Africanism and Black nationalism endures to this day. His emphasis on self-empowerment, racial pride, and global solidarity laid the foundation for later movements for Black liberation and continues to inspire people of African descent around the world. More than halfway through our list. If you're still here, leave a power fist emoji in the comments. 6. Huey Newton. Huey P. Newton was a pivotal figure in the African American civil rights movement as one of the co-founders of the Black Panther Party, BPP. Born on February 17, 1942, in Monroe, Louisiana, Newton grew up in Oakland, California, where he experienced firsthand the systemic racism and police brutality that plagued African American communities. In 1966, Newton and Bobby Seale co-founded the Black Panther Party for self-defense in response to police violence and the lack of social and economic opportunities for African Americans. The BPP advocated for armed self-defense, community empowerment, and revolutionary change, organizing community patrols to monitor police activity and providing free breakfast programs, health clinics, and educational services to underserved communities. Under Newton's leadership, the Black Panther Party became a powerful force for social change and a symbol of resistance against racial oppression. Newton's philosophy of revolutionary intercommunalism emphasized solidarity among oppressed peoples worldwide and called for the dismantling of all forms of exploitation and oppression. However, Newton's activism also made him a target of government surveillance and repression. He was arrested multiple times on various charges, including allegations of murder and assault, leading to prolonged legal battles and controversy surrounding his leadership of the BPP. Despite the challenges and controversies he faced, Huey P. Newton remained committed to the struggle for racial and social justice. After leaving the Black Panther Party in the late 1970s, he continued his activism and advocacy work, focusing on issues such as prison reform, drug rehabilitation, and community organizing. Newton's legacy as a revolutionary thinker and activist continues to inspire generations of people around the world. His contributions to the African American civil rights movement and his unwavering commitment to the principles of self-defense, community empowerment, and social justice have left an indelible mark on American history and the fight for equality and liberation. This next person is the reason we have Black History Month. 5. Carter G. Woodson. Carter G. Woodson was a pioneering African American historian, author, and educator who played a pivotal role in promoting the study and celebration of African American history and culture. Born on December 19, 1875, in New Canton, Virginia, Woodson grew up in a family of former slaves and faced numerous obstacles in obtaining an education. Despite facing discrimination and limited opportunities, Woodson persevered and earned a Bachelor of Literature degree from Berea College in Kentucky. He later obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Chicago and a Master's of History degree from the same institution. Woodson went on to become the second African American to earn a PhD in history from Harvard University in 1912. In 1915, Carter G. Woodson and Jesse E. Moreland co-founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, now the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, to promote research and scholarship on the history and achievements of African Americans. Woodson believed that the systematic study of Black history was essential for combating racial prejudice and fostering pride and self-respect among African Americans. Woodson's most influential work is his creation of Negro History Week, which later evolved into Black History Month. In 1926, he launched Negro History Week to coincide with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, two figures who played significant roles in African American history. The annual observance aimed to highlight the contributions of African Americans to the nation's history and culture, and to promote awareness and understanding of Black history among all Americans. Throughout his career, Carter G. Woodson authored numerous books and articles on African American history, including The Miseducation of the Negro and The Negro in Our History. He was a passionate advocate for the inclusion of Black history in school curricula and worked tirelessly to ensure that African American contributions were recognized and celebrated. Carter G. Woodson's dedication to the study and preservation of African American history laid the foundation for the academic discipline of African American studies and inspired generations of scholars and activists. His commitment to celebrating Black achievement and challenging racial stereotypes continues to resonate today, making him a central figure in the ongoing struggle for racial equality and social justice. The next person on our list took a whole sport global and changed sneaker culture forever. 4. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time and a global icon in sports and popular culture. Born on February 17, 1963, in Brooklyn, New York, Jordan's athletic prowess and competitive drive were evident from a young age. After starring at the University of North Carolina, where he won a national championship in 1982, Jordan entered the NBA draft and was selected by the Chicago Bulls with the 3rd overall pick in 1984. Over the course of his illustrious career, Jordan would go on to redefine the game of basketball and elevate it to new heights of popularity and success. During his time with the Chicago Bulls, Jordan led the team to 6 NBA championships, winning the NBA Finals MVP award each time. His unparalleled scoring ability, athleticism, and clutch performances earned him numerous accolades, including 5 regular season MVP awards and 10 scoring titles. Jordan's impact extended beyond statistics. His charisma, leadership, and competitive spirit made him a beloved figure around the world. Off the court, Michael Jordan became a global brand and cultural icon. His partnership with Nike led to the creation of the Air Jordan sneaker line, which revolutionized the athletic footwear industry and remains one of the most iconic and successful sneaker brands to this day. Jordan's influence transcended sports as he became a symbol of excellence, determination, and success in all endeavors. In addition to his basketball career, Jordan has found success as a businessman and team owner. He is the majority owner of the Charlotte Hornets, an NBA franchise based in North Carolina. Jordan's impact on the game of basketball and popular culture is immeasurable, and his legacy as a player, entrepreneur, and global ambassador continues to inspire millions of people around the world. These last 3 figures are not in any particular order, but no one has impacted Black people and the world at large more than them. 3. Malcolm X. Malcolm X, born Malcolm Little on May 19, 1925, in Omaha, Nebraska, was a prominent African-American leader, activist, and advocate for civil rights and Black liberation. His journey from a troubled youth to becoming one of the most influential figures in the struggle for racial equality is a testament to his resilience, intellect, and unwavering commitment to justice. Raised in a family deeply affected by racism and violence, Malcolm experienced firsthand the injustices and discrimination faced by African Americans in the United States. After a tumultuous youth, marked by encounters with the criminal justice system, Malcolm found direction and purpose through the teachings of the Nation of Islam, NOI, a Black nationalist and religious organization. Under the guidance of NOI leader Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X emerged as a powerful orator and spokesperson for the organization, advocating for Black pride, self-determination, and self-defense. His impassioned speeches and uncompromising stance against white supremacy resonated with many African Americans who were disillusioned with the nonviolent approach of the civil rights movement. Malcolm's views evolved over time, particularly after his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1964, where he experienced a transformative spiritual awakening and embraced a more inclusive vision of Islam and racial unity. He broke ties with the Nation of Islam and founded the Organization of Afro-American Unity, OAAU, which sought to address social, economic, and political issues affecting African Americans. Tragically, Malcolm X was assassinated on February 21, 1965, at the age of 39. His untimely death robbed the world of a visionary leader and left a void in the struggle for racial justice. However, Malcolm's legacy as a fearless advocate for Black empowerment and liberation lives on, inspiring generations of activists and leaders to challenge injustice and fight for equality. His autobiography, co-written with Alex Haley, remains a seminal work that continues to educate and inspire readers worldwide. Malcolm X's impact on the civil rights movement and his enduring influence on the quest for racial justice make him an icon for courage, conviction, and resistance. 2. Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was an eminent African-American abolitionist, orator, writer, and statesman who played a pivotal role in the fight against slavery and the struggle for civil rights in the United States. Born into slavery around 1818 in Talbot County, Maryland, Douglass endured the hardships and brutality of bondage before escaping to freedom at the age of 20. Douglass's escape to the North marked the beginning of his remarkable journey as a leading figure in the abolitionist movement. He became known for his powerful oratory skills and compelling narratives about his experiences as a slave, captivating audiences with his eloquence and moral clarity. In 1845, Douglass published his first autobiography, Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, which became a bestseller and brought widespread attention to the horrors of slavery. His eloquent writings and speeches helped galvanize support for the abolitionist cause and made him one of the most influential voices of his time. Throughout his life, Frederick Douglass remained steadfast in his commitment to ending slavery and advancing the cause for racial equality. He worked closely with other abolitionist leaders, including William Lloyd Garrison and John Brown, and became a prominent advocate for women's rights as well. After the Civil War and the abolition of slavery, Douglass continued to fight for civil rights and social justice. He held several government positions, including serving as a U.S. minister to Haiti and as a presidential advisor to several presidents. He also continued to write and speak out against racial discrimination and injustice until his death on February 20, 1895. Frederick Douglass's legacy as a champion of freedom, equality, and justice continues to inspire people around the world. His courageous activism, eloquent speeches, and indomitable spirit helped pave the way for the abolition of slavery and laid the groundwork for the civil rights movement of the 20th century. Douglass's contributions to American history and his enduring commitment to the ideals of liberty and equality make him a towering figure in the annals of human rights and social progress. 1. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a pivotal figure in the American civil rights movement, known for his nonviolent activism and powerful speeches, advocating for racial equality, justice, and peace. Born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia, King was deeply influenced by his upbringing in a family of pastors and his exposure to the teachings of nonviolent resistance. King rose to national prominence in the 1950s and 1960s as a leader in the struggle against racial segregation and discrimination. He played a central role in organizing and leading key events such as the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955, which protested segregation on public buses, and the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom in 1963, where he delivered his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech. King's commitment to nonviolent protest and civil disobedience was inspired by his Christian faith and the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. He believed that love and compassion were powerful forces for social change, and that nonviolent resistance could overcome even the most entrenched systems of oppression. Throughout his life, Martin Luther King Jr. faced numerous challenges and obstacles, including arrests, harassment, and threats to his safety. However, he remained steadfast in his pursuit of justice and equality, advocating for peaceful resistance even in the face of violence and hostility. King's tireless efforts to advance civil rights and social justice earned him widespread acclaim and recognition, including the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. However, his work was far from complete, as he continued to speak out against racism, poverty, and militarism until his untimely assassination on April 4, 1968, in Memphis, Tennessee. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy continues to resonate today, inspiring generations of people around the world to work toward a more just and equitable society. His moral leadership, courage, and unwavering commitment to the principles of equality and nonviolence serve as a beacon of hope and inspiration for those fighting for civil rights and social justice everywhere.